stories that'll lead you right up to the edge of here. Okay, this seems promising. I figured it would. I love glitchy, so I've been meaning to get my hands on this, like I said already. Let's just start with the cover. It's so bright. I love orange and pink, more like a magenta, honestly. Then there are some quotes of, people that read the book and approve of it, and like it. So this is a short story collection, it's not a novel. So I'm going to read some of the stories. Edge of here, stories here and now. Okay, should I read the intro? I want to read the story. Actually, I'm going to read the intro and then some of the first story. I have never considered myself to be a writer, an actress and director, yes, but never a writer. When people would suggest it, I would scoff. But yeah, such a way with words, they'd say. Yes, a way with words when it comes to talking, taking this way with society down a peg or two. There are so many ways to share our truths though. In one regard, using social media to get my points out there to the world at large. But this collection of stories helps me to not only get a message out into the world, but invites you into my inner world. I have often felt misunderstood in my quest for a fairer and more beautiful world. These stories allow me to share with you my deepest hopes and dreams, represented through the protagonists. I was particular about writing stories that weren't wrought with trauma as it pertains to black women. That's really important. This is a world where black women love and are loved back. This is a world where black women don't have all the answers, but they pay attention to life when it offers something up. In every woman, there is a story, and there is the story. I didn't have to make this part up, because in every black woman I encounter, there is a story dancing in their eyes and on the edge of their smiles. All they need is the space to tell that story. Until they decide to, I hope these stories allow them to feel seen, even in the most subtle ways. Why edge of here? Because this is the space I've grown up in, that liminal space that feels like no place, where you are both the observer and the hyper-observed. All of the stories are born of a simple truth that I've turned up the proverbial volume on. What does it look like if a black woman literally carries everybody else's grief? What would it feel like for non-black people to experience the real pain of racial trauma? I could give more examples, but I'm not trying to steal the cute moments of revelation as you read through the stories. I've lived life at the edge of this current reality for a while, and I know the versions of reality that I can't propose aren't too far away. Join me in exploring the stories at the edge before it becomes the center of here. Okay, let's get into the first story. Actually, before, let me get a little drink. The first story is The Watchers. In the slither of space between this world and the next, we, the Watchers, reside. Our purpose is simple: to guide the souls we are assigned in the task they chose when they were formless orbs of light. There are many times we have looked on as you humans, or as we know you, the Watched, have described an experience as a mere coincidence, instead of accepting that there is a particular path you are on. Those gentle nudges are a way of reminding you of that which you never wanted to forget. We can only help so much, because ultimately, whether watcher or watched, we are all an aspect of the divine, and must be allowed to express that divinity in the way we choose. We slip between time and galaxies, simultaneously observing all so many obstacles have been put in place, some by those higher than us, and some by those who are not, to test their will and power to love against all odds. Many of the watch to tire quickly when they feel that they have very little control over the life they choose. But then there are others, like Chinosu and Ndidi, who persevere lifetime after lifetime. They meet in each human stint, having no memory of the other meetings, only a vague yet visceral sense of having met before. I must make it known to you at this point, dear honorary watcher, that this isn't a love story of the sort the watchers seem to spend an amusing amount of their lives chasing. This love is not propelled by flimsy romance. Instead, it is spurred on by the unwavering desire to evolve into one's highest self while in human form. In other pairings between two beings of light, or twin flames, as they're commonly known, there is an alternation between who remembers something of the task both being agreed to complete. The being who remembers will usually be the chaser, the one tasked with helping the other to acknowledge something greater than the human flesh they now inhabit. The other, being the runner, will avoid the intensity of the calling for a number of earthly reasons. Between these two, though, it seems that Jinonso has taken on the role of chaser for many lifetimes, which isn't to indicate indeed he loves less, but in fact her devotion to being human helps them both to grow in their understanding of humanity. Jinonsu and Ndidi. Today I watch Ndidi teeter in the heel she debated over wearing, while cocooned in her sanitation pod and navigating it on a cobbled pavement by Albert docks. The pods were interesting inventions and still needed a lot of work. But in a world where the fear of pandemics had taken hold, government-issued sanitation pods have become the norm when out in public. Made from self-sterilizing thin plastic, the pods would enclose the individual, allowing for normal range of movement while limiting contact with others. I catch the F and hell Ndidi mutters under her breath as her ankles momentarily wobble in the pod because of the uneven ground and maybe the weight of her expectations of the evening ahead. Who the F chooses a slaving museum for a first date? I hear her think to herself. Jinunso is the who. Jinunso loads his phone screen onto his pod to see if an almost there text has been sent by Ndidi. Nothing. He would usually be annoyed by this lack of an update, but on this occasion it makes him smile. He likes that this woman he is about to meet seems to care very little about explaining herself and just seems to dance to her own tune. Why am I saying dance? I say dance. Nso is what he hears that causes him to turn around and look straight into the face of Ndidi. Ah, Didi, hey. A thick Liverpudlian accent cascades out of Ndidi's mouth as she smilingly says, I told you not to call me that, Professor Boy. It means not. You of all people should know that you don't F around with Igbo names. They have meanings, you know. I noticed in the app that you shorten your name, but I won't be joining you in such rebellious behavior. I look on at that meeting for the first time again, and notice as always the way time bends to allow a brief instant of knowing. They both feel it but laugh it off as first date jitters. I'm very happy for you to still call me Nso, he teases. They both laugh while taking each other in. They've sent so many messages to each other on the dating app that they mistake the pre-existing deep connection with another for merely feeling comfortable from such long conversations. Swiping on a person's picture on a dating app had become mechanical for the two of them, so it is a relief they cherish to have found someone that feels different to all the other dates they have been on. A brief silence is indeed prompted to say what has been on her mind. Not to be rude or nothing, but a slave or a museum for a first date. I know I agreed, but F and hell, it's intense in it. Jinunso worries for a moment that he might sound weird for admitting how he had come to decide on the venue of their date, but decides to be brave as something tells him that he will be safe here. I close soon, so why don't we go in and I can show you the things I find most fascinating here. Then, dinner after, Jinunso feigns confidence as he states this because it is unlike any other date he has been on. Usually, it would be a coffee and a chat, or drinks mixed with a fun night and mundane texts thereafter. Jinunso's decision to move to Liverpool from London so he could teach post-colonial studies seemed very random to everyone who knew him, but as he explained to them all, once he had seen the job vacancy, a gut feeling led him to apply. As you, honorary watcher, are beginning to learn, nothing is really by chance. Chance, from Chinunso's father in Nigeria being an avid Liverpool FC supporter, to the Visit Liverpool billboards Chinunso kept noticing when he was out and about. Everything delicately placed and carefully planned, so this moment could happen. This moment where they would both make the choice to pursue their task in this life or not. It would seem rather peculiar to someone unfamiliar with fate and free will as to how these seemingly opposing systems can coexist. But the truth is that they were and always will be one. Chinunso Ndidi and Ndidi haven't always decided to exist in the same lifetime as each other. It has happened in a few lives where one of these flames has decided to rest and simply ruminate on every lived experience, or has chosen a different galaxy completely. What usually happens is that they spend these lives learning something unique to them about the nature of humans and love, while feeling a lifelong yearning for another soul that they can't quite place. This isn't to say that they aren't happy in these lifetimes, because they are, sometimes even happier than the lives where they do meet. The only defining factor is that desire for another, yet not knowing who exactly it is. She's cute, indeed. He points at a projected painting. That is Queen Nzinga. She ruled in the 17th century and actively resisted the transatlantic slave trade. Chinunso shares almost automatically. In the aftermath of the virus, all museums were forced to store artifacts in airtight vaults and present the public with holograms of these artifacts instead. But despite this, Chinunso still knew of these African histories so deeply and couldn't quite fathom why he was so attached to learning and feeling as much as he was. I would have been like her, I think. Indeed, he says as she looks at the painting intently. I would have told him, "You want to enslave somebody, do you? Well, come and enslave this, beds." And I would have cut their balls off. It is maybe her matter-of-fact way of saying what she would have done that makes Jinso laugh. The type of laughter that breaks one's heart open. That is extremely graphic. Should I be scared? Jinso says as he wipes the tears of laughter from the corner of his eyes. Indeed, he chides. You're making people look at us weird because we're laughing at a slavery museum. But secretly, she is happy that her no-nonsense manner of talking seems to enamor Jinso. She's used to men being rather wary of her fire and trying their best to dampen her spirits by encouraging her to be more ladylike. I just hate that so much. Hence, the heels on the first date. This was the moment, by the way, Chinunso muttered shyly. This was indeed the moment he had seen in his dream, almost like deja vu. Indeed, he's saying she would have been like Queen Nzinga, and not realizing just how much she had shared that spirit in another life. Our role as watchers requires an extensive knowledge of our watched. So I remember the time well when Ndidi and Chinunso met as the slave ships have arrived more frequently on the shores of Bunny in Nigeria. was in a bustling marketplace where Chinitsu sold his wood carvings of ancient deities, much to the disapproval of his mother, who desperately wanted him to be more enthusiastic about their new Christian way of life. Indeed, he had been ordered by her father to show Petro, one of the highly regarded new merchants, their beautiful town. Indeed, he very much enjoyed the attention of this exotic-looking man, but he couldn't help being repulsed by the treating of people who looked like herself. She understood, though, that her family's reputation and affluence couldn't rely on hereditary chieftaincies alone. This is very fine wood. It reminds me of your skin. Petro smiled as he looked at Chinitsu's sculptures, glad to have some interest in his work, but understanding very little of what Petro was saying. Chinitsu began to explain to Ndidi about the deity known as Egbasu, who oversaw warfare. Chinitsu didn't get much further, though, as Ndidi's eyes caught his, and time waned and twisted. In that split second, I saw them both forget Petro's presence, as well as the noise of the market. It wasn't about beauty here, dear honorary watcher. What they both felt was the burning of meeting a kindred soul whom they had been searching for without ever realizing that they were doing so. Petro asked how much for the many-carved god, and before Chinitsu could answer, Ndidi stated a price 4 times more than Chinitsu would have asked for. In that gesture, he decided that he loved her, and would spend his life doing so, regardless of their different status within the kingdom. A trivial reason to decide to love someone, you might say. Okay, that's enough reading. So, yeah, we're at over 20 minutes. I didn't want to do this for longer than 20 minutes. That's enough reading. I'm gonna read the rest of this in my own time because I just got this. I was so excited for this book, and just reading resonates with me because I've always been that person. I wouldn't even